Welcome, everyone, to your weekly dose of multimedia publishing because it's important. We're here with our editorial director of all things PWT Publishing, Dortha. And of course, I am your host, Carolina Billings, for the love of the word. We have some special announcements. We thought we begin to introduce some of our projects that we're working on for a number of reasons. They're all different. And you know what? We're about to publish our very first children's book. And I know I'm jumping all over, but that's my job. And we're going to talk about that. What does that mean and how exciting? And of course, we're going to have the authors come and join us as well to tell us, in their own words, their thought process and such. So, Dortha, you are the gatekeeper. And I trust your discernment, your judgment. You have such a great following, that you know how to connect with an audience. So these two projects, because this is one, and we'll talk about the other one, are a little bit different than what we at PWT Publishing traditionally work with. And I love that. I love that, the amateurs build the ark, right? It lasted longer than the Titanic, made it right. Professionals. So we're always pushing boundaries. So you have participated in a 365 project before, and there's some pros and cons with it. And we're going to talk about why be part of a project like this. Of course, we believe in it, otherwise we wouldn't be doing it. And we'll tell you a little bit more features about it and how it's different, and what to look out for when considering such a large collaboration as such. So walk us through it.
Yeah, so a 365 project like this, 365 meaning there are potentially as many as 365 authors that are participating, contributing their take on a particular topic. And in this case, it's everyday miracles. We'll get into the specifics, God in the little things. And this is where Carolina was saying, like, this is a little bit different stroke for us, because generally speaking, we haven't been in the spiritual segment so much. And yeah, it's actually kind of cool to dabble in new areas like the children's book you previously mentioned, right? All areas that we're getting expanding into and putting our toe in other bodies of water, not just the swimming pool. So I think the cool thing about this is that people from all different experiences, all different walks of life, all different whatever, fill in the blank, come to the table around the same topic, and they contribute their story. And I think the thing I really like about this is that everyday miracles, like, we all have them, right? And if we just pay attention to
how forget them.
Yeah, so easily.
I want to, before we go too far, I do want to say, I do want to highlight, like a good book reader, what you just said, that really spirituality is something that's private to us. It's really not what our main niche of discourse is. However, these two particular projects we're speaking about today, they are curated by Dr. Sherry Jo Watkins, who's a doctor in divinity, and also by Kate Bass, who is also, they're the two of the co-founders of the Christian Entertainment Network. So it is in good hands, in addition to the creator's hands, right? Dortha and I were just honored when we were approached to become the imprint and the publishing arm of the Christian Entertainment Network. Sorry, back to you.
No, that's okay. I mean, these little logistics matter, right? Because it's how it's positioned and it's how we're putting it out into the world. So we're basically kind of the vehicle that's getting this out into the world for the Christian Entertainment Network. And we're very honored to do that and to be partnering with the network in this capacity. So the fun thing about a 365-day project is there's so many opportunities for promotion and for something like PWT to come on board with this. Because we're multimedia, there's so many different ways that this can be angled and touched and featured and highlighted. So one of the logistics things from a standpoint of like, how do you put something like this together is, how do we cull all the information, and then how do we actually disseminate it out to the public, right? And how do we do that in a way that's either A, not overwhelming, or B, in a way that's cohesive and actually makes sense? So those are all the things that we're working on from a back-end standpoint that are, when you read the book, you won't even see that. You'll just be like, oh, this is amazing. And it'll flow really nicely and it'll be beautiful, like when you actually hold it. And it's a fun and challenging project, I will say, because there's a lot of, balls when you're juggling a project. There's a lot of balls to keep in the air, and 365 authors is only one of those balls.
Okay, it's a mammoth size ball, but okay.
Yes.
Only somebody who's full into automation and systems can
That's
look
right.
at that and have it be, just
It's
one
fun.
other factor, right? So one of the areas that, as I said, I have not worked on a 365, neither as a contributor or as a publisher. But I did, of course, like every single project we undertake, consult greatly with Dortha and the team. And they, yes to the topic and to, the kind of messaging that is needed in the world. But not only that, what I was concerned about is, most of our collaborations, which I swear by is the only way to go, for getting your message out to the greatest audience, to the fastest audience. It was actually one of in the pilot that I used for my doctoral dissertation, leveraging technology and marketing assets is the way we get to success, right? In collaborating with other authors is one way to go. However, there are sides to it, right? And normally we only handle 20 to 25 authors per collaboration. So we can turn it around in a 90-day cycle, or, at best, right? We have it down to a science, and it's such a joy to see it come to fruition in such a quick turnaround, because 90 days in publishing to get your book out is like, might as well be 10 minutes, right? More like 5. But anyways, when we were looking at this, I said, I don't want to wait. Like, if I were a contributor, I don't want to wait to gather 365 entries, because any author can participate in more than one entry, which is kind of cool, right? But I don't want to sit around waiting that's a lot of people, right? And that's when we sit down, like almost every project we undertake, and we look at the good and we look at the bad, and we try to mitigate the bad, right? And in this case, how we figured is, because it's multimedia, we're not going to wait for 365. That's only one of the deliverables. We're going to put in action the delivery of the digital in batches of like 10 or 20. And those become evergreen opt-ins and evergreen ways to reach people every single day. So by the time we've run, 30 of these, right, or approximately, you will have 365, and we will circle back and publish the one daily affirmation that is the 365. But this is such an incredible opportunity, because the entry point is under $500. And you're talking, and I'm converting to Canadian, so we'll put the link where you can find out. So needless to say, is what, like $20 US, $500, it's not $20 US. I'm being sarcastic. Anyways, the point is, when you look at your marketing and advertising budget, the kind of deliverables that a project like this offers. And but remember, it has to be genuine. You cannot be selling, shoes that have nothing to do with spirituality, or your messaging has got nothing to do with spirituality and just get in because it's a good deal. That's why it's curated, right? So all the entries are curated and vetted by people in the know. Just like if we're writing a medical book, it'll be curated by a doctor, or there's somebody who's a subject matter expert. And sometimes it is Dortha and I that do the curation because we just happen
to be experts.
Experts. But it is such an incredible project that if you are a spiritual leader, a coach, a mentor, a professional that has a strong faith-based leadership in your messaging, I strongly suggest that you take a quick look, because you're not going to believe the deliverables for the entry into the project. As you can tell, it is by design that the price is so generous, because it is a mission of hope and light by Sherry Joe and Kate Bass and in the Christian Entertainment Network. So we are super excited. And they have two projects like this. There is 365, and I love the cover. I think we totally outdid ourselves on this one. The 100 Stories of Hope, Lighting the Darkness. And still the same premise, still the multimedia delivery, but it's 100 instead of 365, right? So I am so excited about these two projects. As I said, Sherry Joe, Dr. Watkins, she happens to be a friend of PWT Publishing. So, and she insists on being called Sherry Joe, so no disrespect intended. So Sherry Joe and Kate will join us and talk a little bit more in detail, but we wanted to bring this to you this week as an example of what is possible. It doesn't have to be, thousands of words or dollars. Like this is such an incredible project that I definitely, if you really want to serve, within spirituality and your modality, right? This is a game changer. And we are so, so excited. And we will put the link below on how you can get a hold of either Dortha or myself. Check out the website. And of course, you can also connect with Sherry Joe or Kate Bass directly if you want to speak to the people actually that are leading this movement. But we are so proud to be their collaborator. And there's a whole bunch of series of books that we are going to be collaborating with. And, we did a book earlier in the year, which was Leading with Jesus as Your Coach. And that was the first spiritual book that, because is one of our mentor experts, and because she's in the coaching world. She's just like a leading voice in the coaching world. And she came to me with this project, and I was so hesitant because, I'm a strong woman of faith, but as we said, this is not our, correct, right? But I'm telling you, it was such a delight to publish it, to curate it, to do all of the back end work. And it was transformative. I was actually touched by the material. So when this opportunity to collaborate with the Christian Entertainment Network came, yes, absolutely. We need, positive messaging in the world. Yeah. So thank you so much for your courage and your expertise in taking on a project like this. These are the big ones. And by the way, if you are in any kind of, church, or because we're now speaking to a church that wants to do a project like this for their fundraiser, right? So, is, publishing multimedia, doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be complicated, and it doesn't have to be unaffordable.
Right.
Right? Is all for greater good. So I invite you to take a peek, find out more about it, and hopefully we get to collaborate, and you get to be one of the easy peasy authors that Dortha gets to bring to life.
Yes.
So thank you, Dortha. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you next week. Bye.